Welcome on in, everybody. Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. Hope everybody's doing fantastic. Man, I was on the way home today, and I heard on the radio the terrible news about Carl Weathers passing away. What an absolute legend. I friggin' live and die by the Rocky saga. I love Rocky. I love every single Rocky. I love Apollo Creed. You know, I love the Creed series that spawned off from it, and everything that Carl Weathers has been good in, from, you know, Mother Bleeping Predator to Happy Gilmore to The Mandalorian. I remember just like always getting a chance on, we got him on, I think when I was producing Hockman and Crowder, we got him on a couple of times, and he'd always respond to your tweets back when Twitter was kind of new, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. It's Apollo Creed responding to tweets. But it was always with the hashtag BP. So rest in peace to an absolute legend, man. That one took me by surprise a little bit, and I was heartbroken to hear that Carl Weathers had passed away. Meanwhile, right as the show was ending today, with Tobin and Leroy, which you guys can watch on 560WQM's YouTube page every single weekday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tua spoke to the media. Now, there was some dumb Tua controversies going into today's show. We got to have a little fun with Tua coming up dead last in the precision passing skills competition, which apparently he was. I didn't realize he was like. I'm not watching the Pro Bowl games, guys. I did watch the clips of Tua doing it, and I didn't, stick around to see who was actually the winner. I heard it was C.J. Stroud, bully for you, and we can move on. But I guess he was like sabotaged because I guess there's like a 3-point gold ball or something like that. Who the hell cares? This one I did not care about, but I will say Tua has to fire his agent over the Paramount Plus commercial. Has to, because I'm a Tua guy. I think anybody who watches this channel, watches my show, listens to my show, knows that I'm a big Tua supporter. Certainly disappointed with the way this season had ended, but you can't have Tua doing a commercial with Hey Arnold and Peppa Pig and he can't get the grappling hook over the mountain. You can't do it. You can't do it. And then you can't have Patrick Stewart saying, not built for the big moment. Because, like, when Josh Allen gets to do a commercial, first of all, of course, he has his honey bunny, Tony Romo, there kissing his ass. But then also, like, he throws a football through the wilderness and hits Beavis right in the nuts. I mean, like, that's what he should do, because he's got a hoose. So, that's proper editing from the agent. Great job, great script approval. But this, just a terrible job. It goes right up there with like when the Dolphins put up that underthrow to Tyreek Hill because they were so excited about having Tyreek Hill, they had to put up the first to a deep ball to Tyreek Hill. But even if it wasn't thrown well, and we all sat here for 8 million views trying to analyze it, and it was dumb. So anyway, precision passing, stupid controversy, commercial, funny, but you got to fire your agent over that. But he, I guess, doesn't sound like he is going to fire his agent, because Tua spoke to some reporters today, and that was the idea that he believes that he is going to get a long-term deal. He was asked, does he believe a long-term deal will happen? He told some reporters there, quote, I believe that will happen. I'm going to let, my agents, Chris, Mike, let those guys talk about it and let them move forward accordingly. But yeah, Tua believes that the long-term deal will get done. And I said this after the playoffs had ended with Tua about extensions and money and all that. I said, this is the worst time to discuss this stuff because you're emotional, you're hurt, you've seen Tua you've seen Tua not come through in some big games there at the end, and you lose to, in straight weeks, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Not the only guy who had blame in it, but you just see that and you're like, come on. But now Patrick Mahomes is yet again in the Super Bowl because he owns the AFC, Tom Brady-esque, and you're thinking to yourself, do we really have a better solution than this? And shouldn't you appreciate the growth that Tua has had with the time when he's healthy on the field? Because the biggest concern for me coming into this year with Tua was health. And he won Sporting News Comeback Player of the Year, voted on by his peers, which was really cool. And he was able to get through it. But for this extension, it's interesting because, look, you could gussy this up all you want. Quarterbacks make a lot of money. They do. If you're a starting quarterback in the NFL, you're going to make a lot of dough. And not everybody is going to be equal, but you're going to pay your quarterback the most unless he's a rookie. And if you really think that the Miami Dolphins are going to be in a position where they blow this up and they're going to go find CJ Stroud or Brock Purdy all of a sudden, I would say the odds of that are going to be very, very slim. And you have to start thinking about how are we going to work this out, figuring things out with our quarterback Tua. And I think the other big thing that is a huge part of this is the coach. And a big reason that Mike McDaniel got this job, really the reason that he got this job was, could he fix Tua Tagovailoa? Could he get his confidence back? Could he make this a productive football player? Well, he has done that. And I'm not saying that he doesn't have his improvements to make and doesn't have some shortcomings that do have to improve upon, but to hear that confidence from Tua, or to read that confidence from Tua, was interesting. That he is, because I think that even Tua usually, with things that are hot topics or controversial, he'll usually kind of put hands off. We'll see. I would have thought that I'm going to let my agents handle all that would have just been his answer. But the idea that he does believe that the long-term deal is going to happen, I thought was striking. I thought that was an important thing for him to come out there and just let it be known that he does. It was also asked about the idea of would he, wouldn't touch on whether he would hold out or not, but said and mentioned at OTAs that he's looking forward to OTAs. And he said that there's 4 things that I want to get better at. He says, I'm not going to share that. Am I going to share that? Quote, am I going to share that? Probably not. But I'm looking forward to OTAs, and when we get to OTAs, and we'll see you guys again. So it is going to be interesting. It is going to be interesting that he's got some tricks in his up his sleeve. Look, we saw with Tua last year. You guys can say all you want. You can doubt him. Man works his ass off. Man took some unorthodox methods to improve upon an issue last year, which was his way of falling and keeping himself more durable. And now everybody's complaining that he's, too cement-footed. And the idea that you think that Tua can't tweak, because these aren't big things. I don't think anybody thinks that Tua has to fix, the bit. These are minor things. Can you get a little bit more elusive? Can you get with experience more ways to be better in the pocket and things like that? I definitely think that he can be. The interesting thing with this, though, the only way that I think the Dolphins are going to go into this and say, hey, Tua, prove it, is if the owner doesn't really believe in the coach. And if he doesn't believe in the coach and he wants the coach and the quarterback to go prove it, because, hey, they still haven't won a playoff game in 24 years, which I'm going to tell you, if that is the way Stephen Ross goes, I would understand it. I don't think it's likely, because it's not usually how Stephen Ross is operated. It's usually like Stephen Ross is like, oh, there's a problem there. I'm going to fire a part of the individual to be an issue. Oh, we won a random game. Joe Philbin, you get an extension. Oh, this guy doesn't want to tank. Okay, then he's fired. So if Stephen Ross, getting up there, which is also a part of this, if he really just is like, it's like, this is a do or die year. Unless that is like the only way he's going about this, I think that they probably are going to end up paying Tua, because you're really not going to get away from paying him, right? Like, if you go and have Tua this year, and if we all think Tua is going to come back and he can play 17 games, odds are the Miami Dolphins are going to have a pretty good record, right? Like, no Dolphin fan thinks that if they have Tua Tagovailoa, they're going to come back this year and they're going to win 6 games. Like, that to all of us would seem highly, highly unlikely. So then you're going to be in another spot where we'll be like, well, do we go look for another quarterback, or are we going to franchise him? And then you got to franchise him $1 gazillion too. So with the Dolphins' whole cap situation and how they can be more flexible and things like that, unless Stephen Ross really just wants to run this to the end of, Mike, Tua, you guys are tied, go win a playoff game, or you're on the outskis. I'm not saying that's an unfair thing to put on them. It'll put a little bit more heat on the coaches, and you wonder about vote of confidences and things like that. All of those issues that you got to deal with. But I do think that with this franchise and knowing how popular he is, his numbers this year, he's seeing even in the fallout of it, the support from Tyreek Hill, that they're building something and that you got to back the coach and you got to back the quarterback and all that. I find it unlikely that they're going to go into this thing with an idea that this is a do or die year. I think they are going to look upon it as, nope, we have our coach, we have our quarterback of the future. Let's build with this. Let's go forth with this. Let us see where this is at, because right now this is all just a race to topple the Chiefs. Right now, I mean, we could talk about Lamar Jackson, you could talk about Josh Allen, you could talk about all this stuff, and you could be impressed with their runs, and you can be impressed with more of Josh Allen's cannon and all that. Dude, everybody's getting their heads beat over by the same guy, time in and time out. So for me, Tua's confidence did speak something to me. Like, okay, that like it's not like he knows nothing. I don't think he just puts that out there if he doesn't feel like there is some movement towards, oh, I'm confident this is going to be something. But very, very interesting with Tua putting that out there in the ether.